We don't want to take intoxication because that covers over our intelligence. Our intelligence is already covered over by material existence. We don't need any more nonsense covering our intelligence. So anyway, if we can't follow these 4 rules and regulations, then we get into anarthas. And as I explained before, anartha. Artha means fortune, wealth. Anartha means that which takes away wealth. The opposite of wealth. Debt, penury. And we see this whole world now, there's a big crisis because everyone's in so much debt. Why? Because they're full of anarthas. Everything they do is an anartha, practically. So we're trying to get away from this anartha culture and come to the culture of pure devotional service. This is a big stretch for a lot of people. It's very difficult to give up this conditioning that, oh, I should just spend and consume. I'm the enjoyer. My duty is to consume as much material sense gratification as possible. This is what we're taught. This is how we're conditioned. This is how we're brought up. And this is all not for our benefit, but for the benefit of the people who manufacture all these products that we're consuming. It doesn't benefit us at all. In fact, it turns us into paupers. We've sold out our whole existence just to have these useless products. When I say useless, I mean they're not required for survival. They're not required for well-being. And they're certainly not required for spiritual advancement, spiritual life. So what are they good for? So if a person is having trouble following the regulative principles, it means that to some degree they accept the idea that we're supposed to be enjoyers, we're supposed to be consumers of material pleasures and material goods and products. So this conditioning has to be overcome on a deep level before you're going to be able to follow those principles. And the other thing that has to happen is that you have to focus your consciousness, focus your desire on Krishna. What else is there in this world that is of any value besides Krishna? Krishna himself defines illusion as energy which appears to be separate from him. So if anything appears to be separate from him, appears to you to be separate, that means to that degree you are in illusion. So if that is your experience, then you need to change that. And the best way to change that is through study and practice of spiritual principles. The more you immerse yourself in the chanting of the holy name and appreciation of the scriptures and the teachings, then the less desire you're going to have for these material things. Eventually you reach a point where you just forget about it. You don't even think about it. They're simply distractions. Maybe somebody else is engaged in them, but there's, you know, it's like it's Saturday night, right? So what are people doing? They're out going to clubs, going to concerts, dancing, trying to enjoy, and doing all sinful activities, meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex. This is the American way. Every Saturday night, everybody goes out. And they try to do as much sinful activity as possible. And then on the next morning, they go to church. And for 1 hour, maybe they hear a little bit about God. And then they immediately go home and start again eating a big meat dinner and all of this nonsense. Or even during the church service, they're taking liquor, taking wine. What is the meaning of this life? It's simply they're burying their heads deeper and deeper in the muck. So we don't advise you to do this. We advise you to get free from this. And don't even think about it. Just occupy your mind with so much superior things that you don't even think about this nonsense. Huh? It's not like you think, oh, it's Saturday night and I don't have a date. Huh? I mean, so there are people who torture themselves every Saturday night, sitting by the phone waiting for the call, you know. Don't do that to yourself. Don't waste your time. Use this life to advance in spiritual awareness, consciousness. That's really what it's for. Then you'll be happy. We're happy. We don't need all of this stuff. So, if you're having trouble observing the principles, that means you're holding back. You're not jumping in. You're not fully engaged. You're still maintaining material attachments. And these are causes of suffering. These are causes of anartha. Anartha can be gross or it can be subtle. We'll talk about both kinds tomorrow.
There is a question from Varun. Babaji, do pain and happiness come from within, from the soul? If they do, then material desires, when not fulfilled, cause so much pain from within, in the heart. Then does it makes me believe the cause of pain is a function of mind and not of soul? Can you please clarify this?
Well, when the soul is in touch with material energy, he suffers. When the soul is in touch with spiritual energy, he enjoys. Happiness means spiritual consciousness. Suffering means material consciousness. Even if you get your material desire, it's still suffering. Look at this rascal, Michael Jackson. He had everything material. Fame, looks, I mean, until he got himself turned into some kind of creature from outer space. And then he had all this money. He had so many people adoring, fans, you know, and all this stuff. And what happened? It looks starting to look now like he had to keep taking painkillers and anesthetics and heavy pain drugs like that to stop the pain. Why was he in so much pain? He had all kinds of everything that people could desire in this material world. He had. Why was he in so much pain? Because material desires result in pain. Doesn't matter whether you get them or you don't get them. Either way, they give pain. I remember one time, I had a friend one time who was really into the est training. And she just insisted and dragged me to the est training. And I went to this, what was it called? Landmark seminar or something like that. Really waste of time. But I remember two things that Werner Erhard said that were really cool. He had a little knowledge. The two things that he said were, one, he said that one of the worst things that can happen to you is that you get what you want. And I thought that was very profound. Because we see almost always, in material life anyway, that when a person gets what they want, it destroys them. At least when they are struggling and working hard and trying to get the things that they're aiming for in life, it kind of keeps them out of trouble, you know. But then when they get what they want, well, two things happen. One thing is that they overindulge in the things that they like. And the other thing that happens is they find out that those things aren't so great and wonderful after all. With everything that we get in this material world, there's some kind of penalty. There's no free lunch. So if we get fame, we lose our privacy. If we get money, everybody tries to cheat us. If we get love, then everybody's chasing after our girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. And if we get knowledge, then there's somebody else trying to prove us wrong and argue with us and ruin our day. It doesn't matter what it is. Whatever you get in this material world is going to be a problem. So that's the one thing. And the other thing is that he said that I thought was cool. He said that you don't get results by working. You get results by setting up a situation. This is very cool. This is very intelligent. Because he was coming, everybody else I had seen give a seminar, they came out and they were like working so hard to convince everybody that whatever they had to say was really true. And, you know, whew, they looked like they were really, you know, working hard. And this guy comes out there, yeah, I mean, he's dressed in a suit, which immediately, in my mind, reduces his credibility 50%. But you know, he's like leaning up against the podium, going like,